Hello everyone, my name is AndrewAJT and we have a great show for you today. Welcome to part 4 of Trailblazer. This is going to be another fast-paced video because there is so much progress to show. Today our focus is going to be making the account a lot more well-rounded. I want to train some of the skills that I haven't so far and also improve the skills that I have. And we're also going to unlock another Relic, which is very exciting. So I think going forward, melee is the best combat style for me because I have the D-Skim, which took a lot of time to get, and also it's an infinite supply of damage. I don't need to continually buy arrows or runes or craft them myself. But I really just want to make my account a lot more well-rounded, so we will be training mage and range still, just probably not as much. So this shop is really useful. You can get quite a bit of armor here. So I actually noticed that the area restriction is starting to become more of a factor. In the last video, I mentioned that I didn't really feel like it was a huge limiting factor, but maybe it would become one the longer I played, and just a week later, it is making progress more difficult to not have access to certain areas. So for one, I would like to do Doric's quest, which gives you some mining XP, and that would be a great quest to start mining with, but I can't do it because I don't have Asgarnia unlocked, and also I can't do the quest, the Knight's Sword, which would give me a ton of smithing XP. So I have to train the skills manually, which just isn't as efficient. I decided to spend some of my last GP on some armor upgrades from shops, which is quite useful. Something I'm noticing very clearly as an Iron Man is defense is very important. A lot more important than I think it is on a main account in the normal game, because in the normal game you can get prayer very easily and buy prayer potions and really good food and armor. But on here, you're going to be using mediocre armor and also relying on food heavily. So having that extra defense as far as levels and trying to find the best gear that you can, even if it isn't amazing, is really important. Here's Romeo and Juliet completed, which gives me a task completion and also just 5 quest points. I always thought it was odd how that quest gives no other rewards at all, although 5 quest points is quite a lot for a free-to-play quest. So I just need to do one more task for the next Relic. Interestingly, I haven't really gone out of my way to do tasks specifically, maybe a few times, but for the most part I'm just kind of finding my own goals, and it just so happens that many of them sync up with doing tasks as well, even though I don't realize it until it says it's been completed. Some of them are pretty specific though, so maybe I'll have to change my approach to that soon. Anyway, so I'm going to pick Fluid Strikes as my next Relic. This is the melee one. It's very powerful. Melee attacks are 15% more accurate. You take 15% less damage. The weapon speed is doubled, and you also heal HP at a rate of 4 per minute. There's also the passive effect for tier 3 relics where items from some sources will be twice as common. So I was really excited to try out this relic, but we still have more to do before we actually go train melee. There's more pressing matters. For one, let's use up some of these iron bars, and this was just so fun. A level every single plate body with the 8 times XP. It's just so fun to make such rapid progress on skills, especially because the early levels in some skills are not always the most exciting. So being able to get them done so quickly is really enjoyable to do. Of course, the levels will slow down over time. However, the tier 4 relic will boost my XP from times 8 to times 12. That will be a really nice XP increase when we get there. So next up, it's time for my favorite skill of all time, of course, and that is Runecrafting. So I've actually done very well with collecting talismans. I do have an air, mind, water, and body talisman. However, the area restriction aspect is very noticeable right here because I can only actually use the water talisman. The other 3 are in an area which I cannot access, so left with just one choice here to make water runes. I was too low level at first to make body runes, but I did get the level in this video, so I would have been able to make them if I had access to the altar. Runecrafting still takes a while, even with the boosted XP. I only got to level 24 from several inventories of essence, so I might go back to Runecrafting, but overall it is actually still fairly slow if you don't have a good source of essence. Mining it yourself is not really ideal, but I might have to do it again in the future. One big problem is I'm almost out of nature runes, and maybe you guys could give me some suggestions on this. Should I just get the level to craft them, or should I go back to tree spirits to get more, because that's where I got them in the first place, but that's probably not a good long-term solution as far as getting nature runes. What I might do is wait for the next relic where I get times 12 XP, and then do the runecrafting then. I could go get a nature talisman from the abyssal monsters in the fairy ring area, and the nature altar is in Karamja, which I have unlocked by default. It's interesting that I haven't really made good use of Karamja. I really only went there to fight imps for the beads for Imp Catcher, but I feel like there's a lot more I could be doing there, so if you have any ideas, feel free to leave a comment as well. This was a great task to train range because I could safe spot these ogres and also get lots of Slayer levels, Prayer levels, some HP levels, and because the XP was so fast, I actually noticed that my DPS with the bow was getting significantly better in a very short period of time. It's cool that you can actually notice that because in the main game, you might get a range level every once in a while and you're not going to really notice any difference, but with here, if you're getting 10 range levels in a short period of time, the DPS increases noticeably. Without the Avas, it does kind of suck having to pick up the arrows every single time, but I've played enough Deadmen to where I'm used to it. So here's 50 range, which is very nice, and now we're going to move on to melee and test out our new relic. But first, let's do a minor gear upgrade. I can make a U shield, which is a fairly new item, and it has slightly better stats than the anti-dragon shield. I'm really considering unlocking the wilderness next as my next area because it would give me a very easy way to train prayer with the dragon bones, and also the revenants would be a great supply of GP. That's part of why I want more nature runes for the alks, although you can sell the items to a shop as well. And look how good this XP is. It's just amazing how fast you attack with the tier 3 relic. I could also upgrade my gear through the revenants because they do drop rune items, so that would be very useful because I do have the defense requirement. I also think it would be a very fun choice as well because the wilderness is my favorite area in the game, and with all the PKing that I've done, I probably know it better than any other area. I think it would be a really exciting and fun choice, but maybe it wouldn't be the most practical because there's not much questing to do in the wilderness. Let me know in the comments what area you think I should unlock next. I'm leaning towards the wilderness, but I could change my mind. So I did decide to train some defense here because I was taking a lot of damage from the ogres, and normally you don't want to train defense first because it's not as efficient. You want to hit higher with strength and then train the defense later, but 50 defense was so quick that I figured I might as well, and it did make a noticeable difference, so I can go back to strength training now. And speaking of strength, here is 56 and also 900 total. So we made quite a lot of progress this video. We ended the last video at 689 total, and we're going to finish this over 900, so well over 200 levels accomplished, and Trailblazer continues to be very fun to play. I'm definitely going to miss it when it ends in January. If you haven't tried it yet, there is certainly still time to play it and make it worthwhile as of when I'm uploading this video. Please like, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications to all if you haven't already. You can join my clan chat in-game, AndrewAJT62. You can join my Discord down below. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram down below. And if you would like to support the channel even further, you can check out my Patreon page in the end screen. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again next week.